Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to Joyful Living. Today I am bringing you a super unique video, at least for me, where I'm going to be sharing with you the equipment that I use to film videos, the lighting that I use to film videos, and I'm actually going to review 3 different types of cameras so you can see which one might be great for you, especially if you're just starting out, and I'm really glad that you're here. Okay, so let's get to the why of this video before I explain how I'm going to do it. My really good friend, Jessica, who has an amazing YouTube channel, she sews things. And I love watching her because she's just very soothing, but she's also very practical. And Jessica and I have been connected since she very first started her channel. I just adore her. And she is in the market for a new camera for doing her YouTube videos. She reached out to me and asked me what I use. And I said, you know what? It's really hard to decide. And I have 3 different main cameras that I use. So why don't I film on all 3 of the main cameras that I use, and I will send you a video so that you can see exactly how the sound quality differs and how the picture quality differs. She was like, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. So I was planning on coming down here and doing that today, and I thought, you know what? There might be other people that are interested. Maybe you're starting your first YouTube channel, or now that you're sheltering in place, you've got a little bit of extra time. It's something you've always wanted to explore, and you're kind of wondering, what should you purchase? So I'm going to break this video up into 3 parts. The first part that you're watching now is on my Canon EOS M50 equipped with a Rode microphone. The second part I am going to film on my Canon Mark G7X II, and the last part I will film on my phone. I will give you a huge alert across the bottom when we've switched from one camera to the next, and you'll really be able to see as a side-by-side comparison what the differences are between the 3 cameras. Let's talk first of all about what I'm filming on right now. This is the Canon EOS M50. It is a mirrorless camera. It is not a DSLR. I have to tell you, when I first started YouTube, what I knew about cameras could fit on my pinky nail. I knew basically nothing. I have watched maybe hundreds of videos about different kinds of cameras and which type are best for vlogging. And this was not the camera that I started on. I actually started on a Mark G7X II, but I ended up upgrading to this camera because I really wanted a studio space that I could set up and leave set up. My vlogging, I'm doing kind of a combination, used to be of travel vlogs and home vlogs. Now I'm doing a lot more home vlogs, but the ones that I do that are like this one, right? That it's a talking head video, it's a stationary shot. I found that the best way for me to get a lot of production done was to have a studio setup that I didn't have to mess with, so that when inspiration struck, I could pop down to my studio and I could immediately be ready to film. I can tell you that making that change and having a studio setup that was ready to go at a moment's notice made a huge difference in the amount of videos that I've been able to put out. I cannot even express. Like, it was the #1 game changer that made me go from being able to maybe film 2 or 3 times a week to being able to film 4, 5, sometimes 7 days a week. So I highly recommend, especially if you're someone that does a lot of videos out and about and also in your home, having a setup, if you can afford it financially, that is stagnant and is ready to go. Here is why I don't travel with the EOS M50. There are a lot of vloggers that do, although I have found that they are predominantly guys. I find the EOS M50 to be a little bit heavy because the camera is just a little bit heavier. It requires a heavier tripod. In fact, I thought I brought that tripod down. Oh no, here it is. My smaller tripod that I use for my Canon Mark G7X just does not hack it. I have to carry this bad boy. So the weight of this, the weight of the camera, and the fact that the onboard microphone is actually not great on the Canon EOS M50. So I do have to have an external mic if I want to have good sound. So I end up with this rig that is not only a little bit heavy for me, it's also a little bit conspicuous. conspicuous. And when I'm vlogging, whether it be, you know, on a trip somewhere in Europe, or if I'm in New York, or if I'm at a Disney park, which hopefully I will be back in a Disney park soon, I want to be as inconspicuous as possible. I don't want to block somebody's view. I don't want to have this big old camera rig. I like to be very stealthy. And the EOS M50 is just a little too high profile for me. Before I switch over to the Canon Mark G7X II, sorry, there's a lot of letters and numbers in there. I'm also going to share with you guys a little bit about my lighting setup. Probably the thing I wasted the most amount of money when I first started was lighting. I used to have a big setup by Newer, I think is the name of the company. It was a big deal. It took a lot to do it, and the worst part was that I had 2 lights and they needed to be charged before you could use them. Again, with the ease of use. The best setup for you is the one that you're actually going to use and is super easy for you to set up. I now have a ring light, which is right behind the camera that I'm using now. In fact, I will take a quick picture of what I am looking at. There we go. Forgive my messy table back there in the background. That was very inexpensive. I think it was less than $100. And I will put the link to everything that I'm talking about down in the description box below. And this one actually plugs in. And that makes it so much more convenient because I don't have to worry about charging batteries or anything like that. Now, a quick note on the links to everything that will be in my description box. Be very wary when you buy camera equipment on Amazon that you check the return policy. You want to make sure that it's a company that will do a return with no restocking fees, and you want to make sure that you can open up the equipment and play with it for a little bit and decide if it's right for you. If that seller does not provide that, then either find a different seller on Amazon that does, or don't buy it at Amazon at all. Go through a company like Best Buy or even Target or someplace where you know for sure that you can return it without any hassle. Costco is a fantastic place to buy your camera equipment if they have what you're looking for. Definitely check online because, as you may or may not know, they have a fantastic return policy. Definitely check the description box for the link so that you can look up the specifics, but then maybe consider purchasing them from a local shop, especially now, right? Or from a shop that you know you can easily return the items. Okay. That's enough about the Canon EOS M50. Now I'm going to switch over to the Canon Mark G7X II. Okay, so I'm in the same position. I'm using the same tripod. I will put my tripod as well down in the description box. I'm using the same ring light, but I do not have an external mic on this camera, mostly because the Canon G7X II does not have an external mic port. So you probably noticed a difference in the sound quality, and you might notice a difference in the picture quality. Now, one of the things I like to say, especially to new creators, is don't obsess too much over the quality of the picture. If people can see you and people can hear you, you will be able to get your message across. And if you're someone that's going to be successful on YouTube, really, as long as those two things are happening, your channel will grow and people will watch your content. So I really don't want to see people go out and spend a ton of money until they're sure that YouTube is really something they want to stick with. Now, the Canon G7X II was the camera of the moment when I first started vlogging. It is easy to use. It has the flip up screen, which, by the way, the EOS M50 does as well, but it goes out to the side, and on the Canon G7X, it's on the top, which I kind of like a little better. Hold please. Let's take our picture so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Again, it's a smaller profile. It is much more lightweight. I mean, I think that the difference in weight is only like a half a pound, but that really feels like a lot of weight, especially because I can use a much smaller tripod with the Canon G7X II, and it's just more convenient all around. So let's go over the pros and cons of the Canon Mark G7X II. This was my first vlogging camera. I love this camera for ease of use when you're out and about. It is so lightweight, it is so easy. I did break my first one. I'm fairly sure I dropped it or it got jostled in a bag or something, but my first one broke. I ordered a G7X III, which had the option of an external mic port. hated it. Absolutely hated it, and that is the camera that I couldn't return because I had purchased it from an Amazon seller that did not have a good return policy. But the autofocus on the 3 is horrible. I did the firmware update, I did everything I was supposed to do, and I can tell you, hands down, the G7X II is still the better camera in my opinion of the two. Now, the price point on this is less than the EOS M50, especially if you can get maybe a refurbished 2. I think there's a lot of good deals out there, but if you are just starting out and you're ready to move on from your phone, but you don't want to invest a lot of money, this is the camera I would recommend. The other downside to this camera, again, is the sound. As much as I love the EOS M50, you probably can see me and hear me almost as well on this camera as you could on the other one. And quite frankly, my main motivation for switching was not even really about sound or picture. It was more about the fact that I wanted a camera that I could walk around with and a camera that could just be in studio and be stationary and ready to go. But the Canon is a great camera, great price point. I really don't think you can go wrong. And if you really watch any of my park vlogs, and I'll put a link to my most recent playlist right here, all of those were filmed using the Canon G7X II or using my phone. And sometimes you don't even know when I've changed in between the two. And as time has gone on, I will tell you, I am using my phone more and more. So on that note, let me switch over and let's do our third segment on my iPhone 8. Okay, now, believe it or not, we are just filming on my iPhone 8. Let's talk about the amazing benefits of an iPhone. You can shoot in 4K. You can have it in your pocket at all times. The picture is really, really great. The sound, however, is our one downside to just using your phone. The sound is not great. And although you can buy external microphones for the iPhone, a lot of people have them. I never have. What I will do, and what I'm sure that I'm going to do when I go to edit this video, is I am going to put my volume at 400%. And what that will do is it will even out the volume between that first clip where I was using the Rode microphone, the second clip where I was using the onboard microphone with a Mark G7X II, and then this third clip where I'm just filming on my phone. Now, I want to talk about why, as the years have gone on and I've been a YouTube creator for longer, I am relying on my phone more and more. The day in the life video that I did 2 days ago, and I'll put a link to it right here, was filmed almost 100% on my phone. I did film one segment using my Osmo Pocket, which, by the way, I rarely ever use, but it is a super fun little camera and the price point on it is great. It's taken me a minute to kind of figure out how to use that camera, but the longer I've used it, the happier I am with it. But your phone is obviously the most convenient and cost-effective option. You already own it. If you don't have a good phone, like if you've got a big crack in the screen or you've got an old 6 or you've been wanting to upgrade for a long time, it's still gonna be way cheaper to upgrade your phone than it's gonna be for you to start investing in one of these other cameras or maybe a DSLR or something like that. And my number one recommendation, if you're just starting out on YouTube, is don't spend any money on equipment. The only piece of equipment that I would really recommend that you buy, actually there are two pieces. I would get a good tripod and I would get a good light source if you don't have like a window or a reliable place where you can film, because lighting does make a big difference. But if you get a tripod and a good ring light, this, my phone is actually on a little adapter. I think you can get them for $10 on Amazon. It just wraps around your phone and you can screw it right into any tripod that you have and you're ready to go. One thing I think we've learned with all of the social isolating that's been going on is there have been so many celebrities that are putting videos out that they're filming from their family rooms on their phones. The quality is great, the sound is okay, and I definitely think, especially again, if when you're editing, you raise up that volume, you can come out with a product that you can be really, really proud of. And again, if your personality is there and if your content is good, I think just starting with your phone is the best and easiest way to do it. The goal is to get a lot of videos out there, especially when you're first starting, so you can practice, so you can learn the craft, you can figure out how to be comfortable in front of the camera, and you can have a creative space that you can be really, really proud of. I knew nothing about any of this when I started, and if that's you, I just want to give you confidence that you can do this. There's so much great material out there if you are a new creator, and you can be self-taught, and now is a great time to do it because a lot of us have more time on our hands than we've ever had, or by the way, are ever likely to have again. So I hope you enjoyed this. Jessica, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this will help you decide between what kind of camera that you might want to buy. Don't forget to check out the affiliate links. Be careful where you buy from. Remember, we want a really good return policy. Thank you for being here. And if you're not subscribed to the channel and you'd like more creator updates, I also talk a lot about lifestyle over here and all kinds of fun things. I wish you would subscribe and hit those bell notifications so that you don't miss a thing. Have a great day, whatever you're doing. I hope you're finding joy, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.